you can't impress the camera with acting. The camera is almost allergic to acting. It's not interested in acting. Camera is only interested in the behavior of the character. And this, I think, is a double-edged sword. But this, I think, is where the camera has done enormous service to the craft of acting and the subtleties that one can bring to acting. Enormous. It's been a huge gift. We've been able as a craft to move forward in a way that was unthinkable 150 years ago. To allow the camera to find the character rather than the character constantly auditioning for the lens. The lens is not like auditions. The lens is saying, you've got the role, now I would like to film the character. That's what the lens is saying. It truly is.
London Film Festival, so for people who are aspiring to be an actor, what advice would you give them?
Just keep at it. Like, you know, it's if you're really passionate about it and it's something that you want to do genuinely and you feel like you have stories to tell, the capacity to tell stories, then keep going. I mean, you have to be passionate, you have to want it, because it's a tough thing to get into, and even once you're in it, you know, you're never guaranteed work, so it's an up and down kind of life, but if you want it, then go for it.
So if you didn't relate to a character, how hard is it to get into that character?
I mean, to be honest, if I didn't relate to a character, I probably wouldn't take the job. I think that's quite a big thing for me, is like I always want to try and bring myself into the character's shoes. You know, it's like this kind of idea of method acting and removing yourself and becoming someone else completely. I feel it works for some people, but for me, I quite like to be able to put my own memories, my own experiences into a character, just to make it more truthful and bring it as close to home as I can, really.
I dreamt of being an actor since I was 7 years old. In New York City on the West Side with short German Jewish parents who did not want me to be an actor. Until I became a star, at which time they came the co-producers of Henley Winkler. Here's my advice. Be yourself. Be honest about your ability. Prepare so that you are not a flash in the pan. When I first started here in Hollywood in 1973, I thought of myself as a tree, a sapling. And I planted it, and then I was the forest ranger, and I wanted it to grow and be strong until I couldn't do this anymore. And what a great tree it is.
Tell me, what's the most practical acting advice anyone's ever given you? Like something that's actually a tool that you use.
I was, maybe I've told you this when you were writing the book. There was a gentleman called Pushkar, who was the chief AD for Circus, the series. And Mr. Caine was related to him. And he took me for a wedding or someplace, and the advice that Caine said or gave, I don't think he was giving advice, but he kind of, I think had lost his sight by then, or was weak. And he said, observe, absorb, and take it out when called upon to do so. And that's all acting is about. So you just observe things around you and then absorb them and keep them, but don't like make a note कि मैं ये वहाँ use करूँगा. I think that becomes very caricaturish and strange. That if you start doing कि मैं ये ना ये वहाँ use करूँगा. But you should have a natural way of leading a life, if you are wanting to be an actor, where you start observing things without making others aware that you're doing it. It should just become second nature. I think that's the most practical advice I would give to kids, youngsters, myself more often. When I'm sitting here, observation kam ho rahi hai. Of course, our world is a little removed from, it's not in touch with the outside world all the time because of our strange hours. We have to do interviews late at night and stuff, so you can't really have a normal life because the interview comes so late. But I think that's the most practical advice I would give an actor. And just observe, just be aware of what's happening.
For any aspiring actors who want to break the boundaries, who want to push doors, exactly what you have done, what advice do you?
Learn to act on stage. Don't rely on social media. Put it down, turn it off, shut up, be quiet, learn, read, relax, get better. First part of your life you learn, second part of your life you earn, third part of your life you return.
Can you be my therapist?
I already am.
When it comes to acting, for those who, obviously you've done acting for many years now, and when it comes to new actors, what advice would you give them?
New actors? Wow.
People aspiring to be actors.
Aspiring to be actors. Don't look for fame. Don't confuse fame with success. Take every job, even at an audition, you go and you give it your best shot because you're always going to be acting. Any opportunity you get to act, you do it, whether it's local theatre, community theatre, touring, just try and learn as much as you can.
What would you say the do's and don'ts are on set, or in theatre as well, because you've done both?
Okay, yeah. Turn up on time, know your lines, be nice to everyone.
You were rehearsing a scene. So I'm standing here talking to you, and we're rehearsing a scene, and the director comes up, or assistant director or someone, will come up and say, oh, I'm sorry, I see you're rehearsing, and he goes away. If he can see that we are rehearsing, then we're not doing it right. What should happen is we should be talking just to each other. Yeah. And the director, the assistant or the friend or other actor should come up and join in the conversation as though it's a real conversation. And you say, we're rehearsing. And they say, oh, I didn't realize.
What advice do you have for young actors trying to get into, doing serious films?
There's a couple of things. For young actors, earn your stripes, train, see lots and lots of plays, go to New York, go to London, go to your regional theaters wherever you live in the country or the world, see other performers, see anything, read as much as you can, as many plays as you can, watch films, not just to entertain, but watch them critically. That's the basics. Okay, so say you're an actor and you have those aspirations, good for you. You're going to need an agent, representation. You're going to need something else, and that is courage. Have courage, because it's a job that's going to challenge you. There'll be ups, there'll be downs. It's not the glamorous life that everyone may believe it to be. It's nice to be at a film festival with kind people to watch the work, but there's a great deal of shoe leather that goes into getting you there. Most importantly, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And that's what I would advise a young actor to do.
And you think, and you don't, and it's very hard for actors, and I get caught up in that myself, where you have to do more, do something, and you don't have to do anything, nothing, and you're better off, and it'll work the way people are in life. They don't do anything. They could, I'm talking to you and I'm looking at your expression, and you could have been told that somebody in your family was this or that, some terrible thing. You're still going to have the same look.
First starting out is you have to act wherever you can. You can't be picky. You really have to act wherever you can and wherever you get a chance to act, and that might even be just in an audition room. This is something a teacher told me years ago, and he's right. Even if you're auditioning for something that you know you're never going to get, or you might have read it and you might not even have liked it, but you know that you have to go, that if you get a chance to act in a room that somebody else has paid rent for, then you're given a free chance to practice your craft. And in that moment, you should act as well as you can, because if you leave the room or the theater or wherever you are and you've acted as well as you can, there's no way that the people who've watched you will forget it. And that was something that somebody told me a long time ago, and I do think that's the only advice, because it's always about that. It's always about the work at the end of the day. Everybody knows that.
Young actors, turn up on time, be early, and know the lines. When I arrive on the set, I've done my homework and I'm ready to work. And I've noticed occasionally there are people that think they're a little lazy and that they can wing it. And you've got to be incredibly talented to be able to wing it, But that would be my advice to people. Just be early and ready to work.
But you are a method actor?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No, just there. Sorry. Okay. That's not like you touched a nerve.
Okay.
It's just I'm not, because I'm a geek. Okay. I think the words method acting always trigger make me feel. I feel like responding to that with a sort of 4-hour-long lecture as to what method acting may or may not be. And so it's like, I'm glad you asked, but we haven't got the time. So fundamentally, in a nutshell, there's two types of acting: convincing and not convincing. And then midway between the two is any method necessary, including fake it to make it. I could be saying something and thinking, what's for lunch? and that could work and translate. So no, it's not necessary. I think what is really necessary for me as an actor, and only speaking for myself, is the nature of the relationships on set and the who knows the most and best idea wins in service of
One of the things I do when I collaborate is whatever the actor gives me, I use. I don't go home and prepare a performance and then come to the set and use that performance that I prepared at home. Whatever I work with at home, I only take it to a certain extent. And then when I go on stage, I prepare myself for the fact that the actor may give me something completely different. Because what has happened in the past, and I see it with other actors, they'll tell another actor how to act. They've already planned what they want to do, and that other actor, whatever they're giving them, is interfering with that. That's not how it works. You got to say yes to your partner. If they're giving you a line in a certain way, guess what? You got to get up off your double snakes and use that. That's my process of collaborating.
You know, with scripts, the question that I get asked most often, and I think most actors get asked most often, is, how do you remember all those lines? And I'm always like, well, you don't try to remember all the lines. You look at what's on the text. First, you read it and you try to understand it. You read it again. Me, I read it after a run when my endorphins are flying. I read it late Saturday night when I've got a good buzz going. I read it when I'm feeling, right after church, when I'm feeling in a very forgiving mood. I'll read it when I'm mad, sad, glad, tired, happy, excited. At many different places where I am personally, I'll read a script, and that means I'll have a different look at the same scenes because I'm in a different place. And I gather all that for weeks, if not months, before I start really locking into making decisions on what my character would or wouldn't do, on truths of my
I know that this too shall pass. You feel bad right now? You feel pissed off? You feel angry?
Yes,
this too shall pass.
Great.
You feel great? You feel like you know all the answers? You feel like that everybody finally gets you, and there you are. This too shall pass.
Good.
Time is your ally. And if nothing else, just wait.
Just wait.
Just wait.
The reason I came with the holy colors on me was that I wanted to bypass the 45 minutes of makeup time. So I just put color all over my face and I came straight to dance because that 45 minutes to sit down and do the makeup would take away a lot of the energy, the amount of time that I could spend on set. So I was trying to like minimize my physical time as much as possible.
That you're thought of as the greatest actor ever?
Tim's the greatest actor ever. He pretends he loves me, he wants something to eat. Get out of here.
No, it's true.
What's the difference? See, that's a part of the sickness in America, that you have to think in terms of who wins, who loses, who's good, who's bad, who's best, who's worst. We always think in those terms, in the extreme terms. I don't like to think that way. Everybody has their own value in a different way, and I don't like to think who was the best at this or that. I mean, what's the point of it?